On. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
All right, welcome to our Tuesday videos. We are going to start today with our number talk, and on Tuesdays, our number talks are how many ways to make, and today our number is 64. So right now, teachers, I want you to take a minute to write or draw a visual representation of the number 64. So when you think of 64, what comes to mind? Thank you, Ms. T. And friends at home, you are also asked to do this as well. So if you need time, just pause your video and work on your visual representation of 64, then press play again to join us. All right, Miss Hernandez, can you show us your visual representation of 64?
Sure. When I'm thinking of the number 64, I hear the 60 and I hear the 4. So it makes me think of tens and ones. So I have 6 tens for the 60 and 4 ones for the 4. That makes 64.
4, 5, 6 10 rods, and then 4 units make 64. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And I know I can write a number sentence with this. 60 plus 4 equals 64. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Ms. T, can you show your visual representation of 64?
I did a number line and I knew that 64 is in between 60 and 70. So I just drew 60 on this side and 70 on this side, and I put 64 a little bit closer to 60.
Perfect, beautiful. So you're using a number line to help represent your number. And so we have 60 on one side, 70 on the other, and your 64 is not halfway because that would be 65. It's a little bit more towards that 60, 64. Perfect. All right, Miss Rosales, can you show your visual representation of 64?
I decided to just use a tool, which is help me out.
Number bond?
The number bond?
Number bond. And just show a split of, well, 64 is just 60 and 4.
Great work.
But then I took an extra step and wanted to challenge myself, and then I did a split of the 60.
Ooh, and then you split 60 into?
50 and 10.
50 and 10. Perfect. And that's a great segue into what we're doing today. Thank you, Ms. Rosales. So today we're talking about decomposing, and we know that decomposing means taking a number apart. So finding other values that equal that number. So when we do how many ways, it's a great experience of decomposing. So usually when we see 64, we would do what Ms. Hernandez and Ms. Rosales did. We cut them apart and we decompose them into our tens and our ones when we see double digit numbers. So I know the 6 here means I have 6 tens, so that's 60. And the 4 represents my ones, so I have 4 ones. And that's the exact same thing that Ms. Hernandez did here. She visually represented our tens, our 10 rods, and our units, showing 6 10 rods and 4 units. But I want us to challenge ourselves to decompose this number further. So just like Ms. Rosales, she found a different way to decompose 64 by adding a second decomposition with 60. So she went on and she decomposed the 60 into 5 and 10. Is there a different way we can decompose 64? Maybe like a third way? So right here, if you were to look at Ms. Rosales' work, I'm going to show you the number sentence that she has. She has 50 plus 10 plus 4 equals 64. So she showed 3 numbers to equal 64. So can we do that too? Ooh, I see already Miss T has an idea. Go ahead, Miss T, and show us your idea.
So this is something new for me. So what I did first was I broke it into 2 numbers that I was able to remember with Ms. Rosales' strategy, but instead of breaking down the tens, I broke down the ones to make it 2, and because I know 4 is 2 plus 2. So now I have 60 plus 2 plus 2.
Perfect. So I'm going to write that here. So Miss T had 64 and she decomposed it once. The first time she decomposed it, she went into 60 and 4, just like we have it here. But from there, she realized that she can decompose one more time. That 4, she can decompose it into 2 and 2. So she further decomposed that 4 into 2 and 2. And so what would be her new sentence? Ms. Hernandez, what sentence would we write for Ms. T's decomposition here?
So we would write 60.
60
plus 2
plus 2
plus 2
plus 2
equals 64.
64. And I will circle those numbers so that you can see where we got that. So we got 60 here, which was we put in, and then 2, second 2, and then another 2 where we put in our number sentence. And we got a total of 64. Great. Is there another way we can decompose 64? Ms. Rosales, can you help us out with a third way to decompose 64? Ooh.
I kept it the same. I wanted to show, like Miss T, the split between the 60 and the 4, but I decomposed it 30 and 30 because she showed me that I can decompose the 4 as doubles. So I tried it with the 60 and it so happened to work. 30 and 30 makes 60.
Perfect. So now, Miss T, what number sentence could we write for Miss Rosales' decomposition?
I would write 30 plus 30 plus 4 equals 64.
Equals 64. And again, I'm going to show you where we got that. So the first 30 was from here when we decomposed the 60. The second 30 was, again, when we decompose the 60, 30 and 30 makes 60. And then we had the 4 when we decompose 64. And so there we got 30, 30, and 4. Beautiful. Can I challenge somebody to decompose something a third time? So right here we have our second time we decompose. Can we make a number sentence that has 4 numbers or more? Is anyone up for that challenge? And friends at home, I really want to see what you have, what you're doing, because this is a challenge where we're having 4 numbers in our number sentence. So remember, if you need more work time, just press pause and do your work, and then press play when you're ready. All right, Miss T, you are ready. So I'm going to have you share your beautiful number sentence with us, or your decomposition.
So I just worked off of Ms. Rosales' last decomposing, and I just broke down the 30 into 3 10s. So then I did 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 30 plus 4 equals 64.
I was thinking the same thing, Miss T. So she was adding on to Miss Rosales' work, and so I'm just going to add on to Miss Rosales' work with a different color. And then she showed 10, because 30 is made up of 3 10s. So 10, 10, 10. And so how would we write that number sentence, Miss T?
I would write 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 30 plus 4 equals 64.
Wow. And this number sentence has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in our number sentence. And looking back, we can trace where that came from. We know that all of the 10s are decomposed from the 30, because 3 10s make 30. Then we have the 30 from the 60, and that 4 from 64. And so we can see all of our thinking, and it's like a little map that leads to 64. And so we made 64 by decomposing. So great job. This was a warm up into showing you how we can start decomposing numbers and using those friendly numbers to help with different strategies, because this may be one of the most efficient ways to solve a number sentence. So use it in the future. And if you have any ways that you decompose 64 that are different than the way we did, take a picture of your work and submit it to Seesaw so that we can share it with all of our friends on our YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Bye.